'Cause I only want you, yeah. 'Cause I only want you, yeah. 'Cause I only want you, baby, yeah. I only want you, yeah, 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 yeah. Only want you.
Hey y'all!
What's happening?
Welcome to I Choose You podcast, where we're your host and hostess, Naisha.
And I'm Gregory the Great.
Thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday night. You all know we used to be Thursdays, but we switched it to Tuesdays. Thank you all for joining in, taking out time of your busy night, preparing for work to join in with us. We really do appreciate it. Before we get started, there are 3 house rules that should be followed every time. And by now, you all should know them. Number 1 is be respectful of one's opinion.
2 is have fun. And
3
3
is
is make sure you share this podcast all up and down your social media platforms.
and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page, which is I Choose You _podcast.
Amen.
So before we dive into tonight's topic, which is marriage preparation, what to do before you say I do, we just want to talk about our weekend first. And then we're going to go into that post I made yesterday about Top Dog Law. Top Dog Law. So first, our weekend, this was the Saints Texans versus Saints weekend. And of course, we won. H time down. And on top of that, I say God sisters. They probably just say straight sisters, but his God sisters and his God brother, bestie, whatever y'all want to call them. They came down here to hang with us. Would you like to get into that?
No, I'll let you have all the fun.
So anyway, they came down here and we had a great time. I finally got to I had already met James before, but this is my first time meeting Crystal. You said you don't like that.
It don't matter.
Crystal and Roxy. And y'all, they are fun to be around. Okay. You should have been there.
Right.
Hey sisters. Hey brother.
So this weekend we just had a bunch of fun. We kicked off our weekend Friday. Just rode around the city, just trying to find something to get into, finding some good spots to eat. Saturday, pretty much the same thing. Everything was really packed. But Sunday was the highlight of them all. Mm-hmm. We had them slingshots. Me and baby went to Turkey Leg Hut. My first time going there, it was actually pretty good though. There was some big old turkey legs. Man, we drove them slingshots around like we was some kids, man. I know I had fun.
I was freezing.
Right. And man, we went to 5015. We went to Dreams. Houston won. You know what I mean? I tell my hat out to them. I ain't no hater. You know what I mean? The best man win. But the weekend was fun, man. Everybody from Louisiana, New Orleans, all over the boot. They came to Texas and enjoyed themselves. You know what I mean? So the weekend was lit, man. I enjoyed myself, seeing my family, seeing some old friends from I haven't seen in 16, 17 years. So it was good. It was good. Happy Tuesday, man. Steroids in the turkey legs. Y'all crazy.
Y'all, I'm being funny. So we, like you said, we had a good time. And I told him I was going to talk about something that happened tonight, but I'm going to save it for another weekend, another Tuesday, when we decide to talk about that topic. We already talked about it, but we're going to talk about it again so I can get my story.
You just want to be petty.
I have every right to be. Anyways.
Right. See?
So that's how a weekend went. I hope you all enjoyed your weekend because it was a good one. So now let's move on to the Top Dog Law commercial that I heard. So yesterday I was on the way somewhere, don't remember, probably on the way to practice when I heard it. Well, I was probably already sitting at practice. And I heard this commercial, and basically the lawyer was, y'all know they come up with all type of things to talk about to get you to use their services. So they use things that people can relate to but don't really want to talk about. And to sum up what the radio commercial was about, he basically said, you out with your side piece, y'all get into a car accident, you can't call your spouse, but you definitely can call us
Dog.
to help you get out this situation as
Right.
far as the insurance part of it. But when I heard it, I was like, did this man, and then the dramatics that he was using while talking, it was extra, but it was funny. So real quick, because this is not the topic of tonight, I just wanted to throw that story in because it was wild to hear that people really using real life situations to bring people in, being petty on the cool. So how did you feel about that when you heard that?
I've been heard it. It was funny to me. But that's how it be happening. But my thing is always the man in trouble. It's never the damsel in distress.
But
it's
that's why. But that's why when I made my post, I said spouse. I didn't say husband out cheating or wife. I made it a spouse.
Right. It was funny. I just was like, man, they crazy. When I heard, I would cry, laugh. It was funny.
Because what could you do if you out with somebody you know you ain't got no business with, need something bad happen? Because he also said you all bloodied up and scratched up. He said all of that. Like, that was wild.
But how your significant other gonna know?
They gonna find out because they gonna get called.
Right. I guess.
So not only are you done got hurt in a bad accident, but now you about to lose your spouse.
But they don't know if that person in the car was with you. It might be for another vehicle. You gotta have your story together.
People go. Did you just say you gotta have your story together?
Top Dog put it out there. I'm just saying. If I'm Lord forbid, Lord protect me in my vehicle. If I'm in a vehicle with somebody and I get in a car accident and they like, well, where Gregory at? If that person out of the car, like, oh, they must be from another vehicle. I don't know nothing. Top Dog put it out there. I think he got a case like that. That's why he said that. He had to. Think about it. Why would you say that if you ain't getting no case like that? A lawyer.
I don't know. However, it was petty. It was wrong. But if you get caught in that type of situation, you really got what was coming to you.
Don't call Top Dog. He gonna try.
But anyway, so moving right along to the next topic that is going to take us into tonight's topic.
Right.
I wanted to get on the situation of one of the most famous couples in the world, Will and Jada. We just want to give our input really quick on that situation, which is going to direct us into tonight's topic
of marriage preparation.
Right. So with that, how do you feel about that situation? Because she now has a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but she now has a book that's coming out and is really telling her side of things concerning that whole marriage. I think the one thing, and I'll let you give your opinion, but I think the one thing that bothered me the most that I saw that she said was that the reason that they've been separated for, I think 6, maybe 7 years. Hey, y'all, thank you for joining. Maybe 6 or 7 years. But the reason she hadn't went all the way through with divorce, and this is, I'm not quoting her word for word, but something along the lines of because she wanted to uphold her vows, which is for better or for worse.
Right.
But my opinion is, how are you for better how are you for better or for worse when you're already separated?
That boy.
So what you feel?
Man, I don't, for me, I just thought it was a publicity stunt, but the more and more she opened her mouth up about things, I just feel like, people always talking about those, what they call it? Them stage marriages. Like, like, I don't know, because if you think about it, if you know Jada and Will's history, he always chased her. It's like she never wanted him. You know what I mean? Even from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she was always dissing him. You could just see it like, I don't like you like this. But I believe she probably seen a man that he was gonna become and just like, I'm gonna marry him because Will is a made man. You know what I mean? Will made. You know what I mean? What we know Jada Pinkett from? Set It Off, Certain Little Rose or whatever. Who is Jada Pinkett?
Come on now, we gonna give her props because she's been in several movies and she got her own podcast. She got books. She got
that came down the line though,
but she still is somebody that's pop known and she got her own.
I'm not saying that though, but I'm like, that's Will. Will been the man. Will been the man since Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Back door and gave you Men in Black when nobody ever seen no black man with no Tommy Lee Davidson. The three of them at that. Man, Will and all type of stuff. He gave you what that was, The Pursuit of Happiness with him. He got The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm talking, he give you some classics. We know Jada from Set It Off.
She was on more than that, baby.
But that's the main movie.
Right, but so we're not talking about their careers. We're talking about their marriage.
I just think that I think she married Will for clout. I love Will too. That's my boy, man. I always say when they talk about the men with them big ears, I say I
really feel like it was more so and I think he's holding on too. However, I think she's doing more. She's embarrassing him more.
Yeah,
and more.
The man been holding her down for the longest. You know what I mean? And I always say this, man, why the good guys always got to finish last? She straight up said that Tupac was her soulmate. How can you tell your husband that? Like, why am I gonna get into it? Because I've been reading up on the two and I really don't like it.
Right, but on the flip side, it has also been said that Will admitted to some things that he has done too, that he ain't been the angel in the relationship.
That's cool though, but at the same time, your wife don't really right. I'm gonna just leave that alone. Anyway,
so that I gave my opinion. I feel like she's I really don't want to say using him, but I feel like she's dragging him along.
Then somebody also said probably was just a publicity stunt. That gets, she ain't getting no reviews on her little, what is called the red table.
I don't know, but I also just read that she said she didn't even know that when Will slapped Chris Rock, she said, and this is verbatim, she said, I didn't even think Will was actually going to slap him. I thought it was a skit. It wasn't until after Will was walking back to the table that I realized it wasn't a skit. That's exactly what she said.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's exactly. And she said they wasn't together because I just said that they've been separated 6 or 7 years. So they wasn't even together when he slapped Chris Rock.
But it's crazy. The only entertainment people know what's going on because they said that Chris Rock knew that and he played on it, asking for a number or something.
So, I don't know, child. So anyway, so that takes us into our topic, which is marriage preparation. What to do before you say I do. Because I feel like had they really, not even them, just married couples, period. If you do the work before getting married, if you get to know the person before getting married, if you get to know the person's family history concerning marriage before getting married, a lot of these things that couples go through can be avoided.
Right.
So, you got the photos.
So, y'all know what tonight's topic is, and marriage preparation, what to do before marriage. So I want to start off by saying this. Anyone can plan a wedding, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. I'm going to say that one more time, just in case some of y'all missed it. Anyone can plan a wedding, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. So I have 4 topics, key points. I ain't gonna say topics, 4 key points that I want to just share with you guys, just from me and Aisha's perspective on different things that we feel like is can prepare you for marriage and what to do before you say I do. You know what I mean? We not the marriage counselor, where we just giving our opinions and our thoughts on these things. So first we're gonna start with history. And I want to start with the history because history plays a major part in your marriage before you say I do. Some people might be like, how? But I have a question for y'all. And we're going to give our opinions on it too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the question is, what did you learn about relationships from your parents and family concerning marriage?
I got it. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So, what did you learn about relationships from your parents and family? That's a hard one to discuss or to even talk about because I can't talk about what I learned. I can talk about what I learned not to do.
That's cool.
I learned from my parents and from my just family how instead of running from adversity, facing it, working it out together, not blaming others if I know in fact that I was doing something wrong myself, not learning how to communicate without being physical, learn how to just to be that moral support that's needed within a marriage. Um, I can't really speak on my actual family when it comes to marriage because some of them are still rocking and some of them divorced. I can't give an honest answer as to why they divorced because that's not my business. Number one, and number two, I don't want to just be saying stuff and it's not true.
Right.
Um, I mean that's pretty much what I learned. I pay attention to what not to do.
Right.
And if I catch myself doing, I always stop myself and remind myself that that's not a feeling that I liked growing up, especially the arguing in front of us, me and my siblings, or just all kind of stuff I didn't like.
Right.
So now I'm making my business to not do that in front of them.
Right.
What about you?
So what did I learn about relationships from my parents and my family? So I always, me, I always go back to my grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather on my dad's side. They've been married for the longest. And what I learned from them is how to love one another. And they had their spats, but you didn't know unless you really was paying attention. Like if I hear my grandfather say June Evelyn, I know that something's going on.
Mhm.
Or if I hear my grandmother say Leroy Taylor, I know something going on. Now, when they just being the married couple is always Sweetie Pie or Mr. Taylor, just Leroy. When you even now as a adult, when I hear people use first and last names, I always say or just first and middle name, like something's going on. That's
Right.
way like an argument, coming in. But I learned from my grandparents just how to stick things out. I never seen nothing fishy going on, but I know there probably was bumpy roads. My mom and my dad wasn't together, you know what I mean? But I seen my mom and my brothers, my three baby brothers, they was together. And what I learned from them is like, if you're not happy somewhere, just move around. You know what I mean?
I think that's what
a lot of
I'm
people,
sorry, baby, go ahead.
a lot of people, and the only reason why I'm saying history because sometimes our history was warp us as we get older. People always say ride it out. We doing this for the kids. That's a part in the history that I don't want to do. If I'm not happy, I'm not standing around for the kids. You know what I mean? Because they ain't gonna do nothing but make the situation worse.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is a lot of couples stay together for the kids, and even that was me. That used to be me as well. But now I'm in the mind frame. I'm not doing it. If I'm unhappy, that does nothing but rub off on my kids. So they
Right.
really aren't experiencing happiness just because it's two parents in the home.
Right.
So you have to learn to walking away
Mm-hmm.
for your mental, in order for your mental to be better, is also what's good for the kids.
Right.
So I have a question about history. So in your family, mama, dad side, do you have how many have divorced? How many marriages have you heard divorced?
None.
That's good.
Only reason why I
Well,
say
is it because you didn't hear about it, or they haven't? They haven't.
And I'm gonna give you a great example. My grandmother, to this day, she believes in you ain't getting no divorce. She always tell me that when I get on the phone, I'm new to marriage, just crying to her about certain things. She like, look, Gregory, you stick it out, you work it out, and you find out what's the underlying key that's making you feel like that.
Yeah.
And express yourself. But me, I have a habit of over expressing myself. I get real compassion. I get real compassionate about how I feel about things, though. Sometimes, it might come out the wrong way, but my grandma always was like that. I seen my grandma, a lot of people in my family. Now I can't say who wasn't married in my family because I know who was boyfriend and girlfriend or just baby dad. Now the ones that's married, they still married. My mom and dad wasn't married. Matter of fact, I think my dad did marry my older sister mom. No, I don't think that. I think they just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My dad only been married one time. So my Uncle Steve only been married one time. Oh, I did see some divorce. I'm lying. I did.
When you get to talking about it, they come out.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it.
Because
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about my aunt and uncles, and I'm thinking about some of my grandfather
but
said.
When you start calling names, that's when
then
you
they start
realize.
Coming back, I'm like, oh, it was one person. One of my.
Yeah, we don't name no more names.
I ain't gonna name no more names.
In my family, I ain't naming them names, but majority of them are still married.
Right, majority.
From what I know,
that's a big majority. Is a lot.
Majority of them. There's a lot of us, and I'm gonna say us, even though I'm not included. There's a lot of us that just got a boyfriend, girlfriend, baby daddy, baby mama,
widow, shacking up, all that.
Babe, no, this is my family.
Okay.
But then there's a lot of us that are married and have been married for a long time, thugging out all the drama, thugging out all the rumors, thugging it all out. And then there's a few of us that has divorced and remarried. There's a few of us that has divorced and still not married.
Right.
There's a lot of us that is just doing our thing. But
and married.
Just, call it how it is. This is I Choose Your Podcast where we keep it real. A lot of y'all is married and still doing your thing on the side. My family and his. So
well, make sure you exclude mine, boy. Let's go.
But anyway, so that's just the first key point is history.
Right.
Learning your history. That way you can know who you're about to marry.
Right.
Y'all heard him say his grandmother was strictly ain't no divorce and you're gonna work it out. And that's how he is. Even though we have our arguments, he's still willing to come back to figure out how it's gonna work. Not to say he's the only one, because I feel like I'll be the bigger person a lot of the time. But over here, it's no divorce either. We gonna work it out. So I feel like the history also plays a part in, like we just talked about, is it a big record of divorces? Because if it's a big record of divorce, you more than likely not gonna make it because there has been no example of how to keep going.
And the only reason why I brought this subject up because last week we was asked to step out on faith to do something, and it is pertaining to marriage. But I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna let it play out how it's gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, before you get married, you have to ask yourself, your fiance, your baby daddy, whoever you with, man, what was it like in your family? What did you see your parents do? Or what would you have liked them to do? That's part of the history. You know what I mean? And once you start looking at the history, be like, wow, I want to make. And I think history hurts us too, because we always say we don't want to be like our parents, and we try so much to not be like our parents, our grandparents, our aunt and uncles, for us when it comes to divorce or different relationships, that we fumble the rock sometimes, and we do exactly what they did.
Right, trying so hard not to do it, that we do,
and we still do it. So my next PowerPoint leads up to is fears, and the only reason why I bring up fears in a marriage preparation and what to do before you say I do is because a lot of people have fears when it comes to marriage, not physically but mentally, and you can't see those fears. You know what I mean? And the only reason why I know, because I'm hard on myself on my marriage because of fears of what I don't want to happen or don't want to hear. So my question is, what fears did you have as a kid when it comes to marriage, or as a young adult, a young adolescent? Like, what fears did you have? Like, what did you tell yourself? Like, man, like it just kind of like shook you up.
I don't know, because I was always the one that wanted to be married. I used to sit and write them little who my marriage, who my husband gonna be, all this type of stuff. That probably was the whole team to see something. Name it,
Nah,
we gonna be married too.
nah.
But I used to dream about this. So I mean, I could go back to the first question with history. My fears were things that I did not want to happen.
Right.
Like again, like I said, with arguing in front of the kids or literally fighting in front of the kids, um, the cheating, just all type of stuff. I mean, this is stuff that I did not want to. It wasn't necessarily a fear. It's just things I didn't want to happen.
Right.
It's not like I was saying, "Oh, I don't want to get married because they doing this." I never thought like that.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Well, for me with fears, I'm not gonna say it was a fear because, like I say, only these marriage these days compared to the marriage back in the days is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do like she's saying and use fears and go back to the history. History will make you want to get married because you always see the older folks back in the day, man, they could have did this, that, and the other, and they stayed together. For as right now, they could just be married 3 months, divorce. So it's like sometimes a lot of marriage is just like they didn't know the history of their significant other.
I think what I can say about that is it's not a fear of mine because again I don't have any or didn't have any as a kid. But I think the generation now, because they see so many marriages are getting divorced, that they're choosing to not even want to be married. Or if they get married, like you said, they running and tucking their tails in 3 months because they never sat down to figure out what the
What is
history
these
has
things been?
been or
Right,
what is it I'm going to tolerate,
right.
what is it I'm not going to tolerate. You just in it just to get annulled in 3 months. Like, what was the purpose? And then it's the ones who spending all that money. Like, what?
On these big weddings, on these big
I don't
weddings,
know.
and is crazy.
Nobody's. It seems like the generation now, nobody is really teaching them the steps to make a marriage work.
Or they're not doing premarital counseling.
And even if they are, they not getting nothing from it.
Right. They just, man, we getting married. This is what I want. Big lavish marriage. And
Right.
that's what it is. So a fear of mine, and it's crazy to say this, was I want to be the great husband, the most valuable husband of the world. Even though I know my wife makes sure that I'm the MVP. I just, my biggest thing fear is, I mean, I always want to be great for my wife, God, my wife, and the kids. When it comes to me and her, I want to be great, for my wife. That's the only fear that I have. Other than that, man, it's a choice you make to fear something. You know what I mean? If you block that fear out and just go with the flow, don't even talk about it, just move, I think you could get past it.
Right.
So,
hey, Deke, what's going on?
Hey, there go my deacon, y'all.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Tonight we were talking about marriage preparation and what you do before you get married. Just to bring you up to speed. I came in with anyone can plan a wedding, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. And we talked about the history, and as you jumped in, we were talking about the fears. So my third PowerPoint was the expectation. A lot of people put high expectations on their marriage because of what they see. So as I was doing this study, getting ready for marriage, I was just asking Aisha, I was like, man, this kind of like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people have expectations. So, and I know I had high expectations of our marriage because of what I seen, I always say, from my grandmother. So my question is, what are your expectations when it comes to marriage? Not our marriage, but when it comes to marriage, period. What can you, help someone, like what not to expect, what to expect, like, how would you give it to them? Like preparing, like getting ready for marriage preparation.
So the first thing that came to my mind when you was talking about it was expect adversity. Expect things to not be perfect.
Right.
Expect things to get hard at times. I think if people talk about, I don't want to say negative things, but if people talk about things that are really going to happen within the marriage
Right.
versus always talking about the glorious things about marriage,
Right.
then people will want to stay married and will be more prepared for marriage. So mine would be, my expectations would be, again, expect adversity, expect things to not be perfect, expect just expect the unexpected.
Just
I
expect
mean,
unexpected.
don't tolerate nonsense,
Right.
but just expect things to not be peaches and cream all the time.
Right. My expectations was high in my marriage because I was like, man, it's something that me and Aisha have been talking about since we was in the teenage years. I ain't gonna say teenage years. She was a teenager. I was a young man, and
He asked me to marry him twice.
true, I can't lie. My expectations just was high, and they still are high because I know what I want, I know what I need, I know what I deserve. So if you going into marriage preparation, I believe there should be three things, just from my perspective, that you should know what you want, know what you need, and know what you deserve, meaning know your worth. If you feel like you're not being shown your worth in that marriage preparation, then that's something that you need to talk about before you say, I do. Because a lot of people just saying, I do, because it's, you know what I mean? And it's looking for, somebody to shack up with. Marriage is serious. You know what I mean? Like the Bible say, like we married to God. God look at it like this is a covenant. You know what I mean? You got to take this serious. You know what I mean? You're going to have your ups and downs.
Right. Expect ups and downs.
Expect up and down. Like she said, strength through adversity. I used to always tell her this. You know what I mean? That used to be one of my main things through life. Now when it comes to this marriage, I'm like, girl, you got to have strength through adversity, because I'm the main one that's always be like, man, because I don't like the unexpected, but I have to expect things to happen at the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. So you got to know when you're preparing or getting ready for this marriage, what the history is, what the fears is, and what the expectations is.
So what, because you said you had big expectations with our family. So what were some of those expectations that you feel have not been met?
I just thought like a lot of people would be accepting of us.
So who's not?
I just say family.
Who's not though? Because I want to know.
Not on my side.
So who's not? Oh, I
Right.
know now. But that doesn't even matter.
But
because
it
at the end
does
of the
matter
day-
because at the end of the day, I don't like when I say family, because my family on my grandmother's side, they big. And when they show up, so I'm gonna say this. My grandma had a 50th anniversary, and I wasn't a part of the first wedding because I wasn't even thought of. But for my 50th anniversary, my grandmother made sure that her grandson, Lil Gregory, was in that wedding. And I promise you, I never seen them, all them family members a day in my life. And they say 50th anniversary is a long time. And this was in the 90s. So imagine now we in the 2000s. So them folks been married about 70 years, probably 80 years. I think my grandpa said they got married and they was like 16 and 17 years old folks. You know what I mean? When they was doing the thing back in the day. You know what I mean? So my expectation was they had both sides of the family there. That's what I be looking at, like both sides of the family. This is what I'm expecting. Gregory and Aisha together, your family come, my family come. Then I have extended family that people love me like just like she got extended family. It's more like our extended families is more happy than our immediate family. That don't sit well with me. That don't sit well with me. You know what I mean? So to keep it cordial, I tell her I almost fool with them. It is what it is, but that's what I expected. Those were my expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when it comes to your family, I think my expectations were based on previous experience. My expectations have been met. Your family have accepted me. Not only me, they've accepted the children as well, with no questions asked. So, and even out to your grandmother, Sweetie Pie, love her some sweet thing.
Right.
Period. So
Well,
and she even called. She even when she calls, she even asks about the grandkids. She talks to the grandkids.
right.
So we don't have no grandkids.
Grandkids,
She
but
talks to
the kids,
them.
as where my grandbabies
Yeah,
at. She
that's
want to
what I
make sure
mean.
that she speak with them. She don't want to talk to us no more. She want to talk to the kids
Right.
to make sure that we doing our part and that they're okay. And that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't, some people probably feel like I took Naisha away from them. You know what I mean? They expected probably the same thing. Oh, Naisha gonna be doing this, gonna do this. You know what I mean? You know, when you go through marriage or a separation or whatever, like you say, my wife always, she's a stand-up woman when she say this, I want to make sure that I do things different in this marriage. This is my first marriage, you know what I mean? On I Choose You podcast, we're going to keep it raw and uncut. We're going to help you help somebody else, you know what I mean? Or you're going to help us help you help somebody else. So that's why we always give facts from ourselves and bring to y'all, just in case y'all be like, man, well, what this do or what that do? Right. We're only going to use ourselves. We're never gonna talk about nobody else, what they got going on. And that's one thing I want to say too. I know I'm probably moving a little fast. Marriage preparation. Don't try to compare your marriage to somebody else's marriage. Don't worry about their vibe.
Because you will always be let down doing that.
Because I was telling my wife, help me find my husband. Oh,
hey,
God.
Sister.
When you try to look at somebody else's marriage and what they got going on or the vibe that they got, you're going to always be let down, because pictures could say 1,000 words, but that picture could also tell you something that's really not true.
Which brings us, it's not our next point on here, but it's some conversation we had earlier when Baby was saying, because when we have fun, we going to post it.
Right.
But he was saying that he noticed a lot of the married couples that we do know, they really don't be posting nothing. And he was wondering why.
I did, because I'm like, I say we know a lot of married couples, and I'm like, people always sliding on a cool to my y'all be having big motions. But one thing that I told Naisha, and I thank Steve Harvey for this, and I thank Bishop T.D. Jakes, he said, man, your kids gonna be all right. You need to focus on y'all. Because if you focus so much on them, you ain't gonna never have time for y'all. And so when I told her that and I broke it down to them, I'm like, baby, that's true, because we focus so much on them, want to make sure they're good, that we forgetting about ourselves. You know what I mean? And like I always say, we try to do 2 events with us, 2 events with them on the weekends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like this weekend, we went and did our thing with family and friends. But I made sure that I included them with us that Monday morning because they wanted to ride a slingshot. I made sure I took all of them to school. They were so happy they posting, and they want me to trade my car in and buy a slingshot so they could have something to play in. But that's what we do though. So I was just curious, like, I want to see the black love, as my brother Pat Poose always say. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see the married couples out there enjoying themselves as we do. You know what I mean? I want to see it. Only reason why I want to see it, because people always say that black love is dying. Like marriage with black people is just a has-been. So I want to see it. So, I ain't perfect. You know what I mean? I don't claim to be. But
right. But before we move on to the last point, thank you all for joining. Those who are just now joining, thank you for joining in. Tonight's topic is marriage preparation. What to do before you say I do. And the first few points we have already talked about is first, history. What did you learn about taking time to learn about relationships from your parents and family? Fears is, what fears did you have as an adolescent when it comes to marriage? Expectations. What were or are your expectations when it comes to marriage? So that's the first 3 we talked about. And this says, yep, post in away. We need to see black love. I'm here for it. You have to be able to celebrate others.
Right.
Yes.
But I want to see, because you got a lot of people that's married, and I'm like, we know a lot of people that's married. I know some people they get in that celebrity mode. I don't want nobody in my business. But I'm like,
but why you saying they do that?
Man,
a lot of y'all ain't being private just to be private. Y'all being private because you hiding something. That's what he said.
That's what I said, because I'm like, only reason why I say that because I used to be that guy, and I know if you
Not with me.
if you got somebody, I'm gonna just put it out there. And say you got somebody, me and Aisha married, but we going through what we going through, and I got somebody on the side. Now you know you got to know who you dealing with or who's you dealing with, as people say. What's up? And I post Aisha and the side people might be like, oh, I thought woo, and then they be like, why you take no picture of me? They post a picture, they be like, hold up, there you go, man. Y'all know how y'all do it, or y'all post a pic, but it's not a this of a situation or whatever. Y'all know how it go. Everybody done been out there where they done did their thing, so they know how to the cheating and the scams and all that go, how to be around the bush and it's a hoodwink or you know how it go. But I'm always curious. I'm like, dang, why people always telling us, man, y'all got them big vibes. And then when we invite y'all to place, y'all like, oh nah. I'm like,
no.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why y'all asking them? I'm like this. I don't want to say it, but I told him, I said, look, man, just because you have this title on your head, you still should have fun, bro. Straight up. I'm not putting no names. I think of people ask me all the time, and I tell them, I say, look, bro, I love God. I'm a man of God. You know what I mean? God know I ain't perfect, but I'm still gonna have fun. As long as I ain't doing nothing, I ain't got no business, I'm cool. I'm gonna do Gregory Vernell Racine. I'm gonna love on my wife. I'm gonna be out enjoying myself, having fun. You know what I mean? And if I did something wrong, I know how to get on my knees and say, Lord, forgive me if I feel like I did something wrong. So
yeah, we're gonna get to the last point, but you also brought up that I forgot the pastor. They be on TikTok. Him and his wife, they stay cutting the bishop. Up on Facebook.
That's what I'm saying. He a whole bishop.
Yeah.
This man be on TikTok and keeping it real. I say, baby, look. And I'm like, I admire that because he even said, my title don't mean nothing. I'm married at the end of the day. I'm a man. My wife is a woman. If we gonna have fun, we ain't doing nothing. I ain't got no business doing. Yes, I'm a pastor. I want the young couples in my church to see I'm having fun.
Right, exactly.
Ooh, she said it. I ain't saying it, y'all.
I hate when folks post that arm and leg shot on the page. That is the first sign of someone else, boo. If you can't post the face, red flags for sure. Bishop, that skates. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They be having fun, man. He be out having fun. He be in them clubs. He be in them skating rings, them bowling alleys. That man ain't worrying about nothing. That man enjoying life. They gonna be right back in that pulpit Sunday telling you, I was out last night at the club, or the skating ring, or the bowling alley. Me and my wife first let it stand up. Look, she looking good. He gonna acknowledge that. He letting y'all know you ain't gotta be holier than thou. That's what we trying to tell people. People look at us, man, we gonna have fun. Yes, we was at 5015 if y'all want to know. We was at Dreams. We ain't did nothing. We was enjoying ourselves.
I keep forgetting the name.
Dreams 50. Oh, Swaggers. We was at Swaggers. Yeah, we was in the building.
Y'all remind me to tell you about Swaggers in about 2-3 weeks. Okay.
Chill out, man.
Whatever.
Yeah. But
in 2 to 3 weeks, remind me, okay? Just come on and type in the chat Swaggers, and I will tell you.
Ain't nobody got no swagger like us.
Whatever. They don't. But in 2 to 3 weeks, I'm gonna say it again.
Right.
Just hop on the live and type in the comments Swaggers.
So the last point of getting ready for marriage or marriage preparation, what to do before you say I do, is dreams. And the only reason why I say dreams because a lot of times when people have marriage, like she said earlier, she used to write down, "Oh, I'm gonna be married to such and such." My name wasn't on it.
I didn't know.
Anyway, when you did, it was all over the paper. I love you, you love me. Let's get together and have a family. Yes.
Why you just back that up? Stop the cap.
Anyway, dreams. What is a dream that you envision for our marriage?
To be together long term. My goal and my dream is for us to die together. Live a very long life.
Hundreds.
Pleasing hundreds. He gonna be 105. Cause I'm gonna be 100. He gonna be 100. He gonna be just about to turn 105. That's how I want to be. That's and we real. Still Hey, baby. Welcome
Hey,
to
baby.
IGV Podcast.
Welcome to our 2U podcast. We might have somebody standing up there that look just like us, but it's gonna be an AI, artificial intelligence, talking for us. You know what I'm talking about? Hey there, baby.
Thank you for joining in.
Thank you for joining in.
Man,
That's,
perfect.
baby, can you pass me that water right there, love? That's how we want to be. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna say, so one y'all gonna be married then. I gonna say, my boy, they cutting up. Look at them raised, still together.
Yes,
I might still have this LSU hat from 2021. I'm gonna make sure I say this hat all the way up until then. I'm gonna say, look at this, 20 years later, 100 years later. That she like that.
But yes, that is one of my dreams, for us to be old, gray haired, still rocking. He already got way more gray hair than me, but we almost there.
Babe, I know you ain't talking. This girl got a kitchen back there full of grays. Yeah, I'll put you out there talking about my grays. All right, you just got home. So, man, thank y'all for joining in, man.
What's your dream?
Oh, my dreams. What is a dream that you envision for your marriage? Man, my dream that I envision for my marriage is live. Always be YAA, young, active, and attracted to one another. I want that attraction to
Even with no
stay
gums?
there. Hey there,
With no teeth in
baby.
your mouth?
Hey there, baby. I'm gonna have me some fire dentures if I ain't got no teeth in my mouth.
Look, since we talking about dreams, and he just gave his dream.
I ain't finished.
Go ahead, because
Nah,
I
go
know
ahead,
what I'm
because
about to say.
don't say what you're gonna say.
I was gonna jump in when you said something about some fresh dentures. I was gonna say, when I get old, I'm gonna give me a grill. That's gonna be my dentures.
What goes?
Yeah, a mouth.
Gonna look crazy in the mud.
I'm
Anyway,
a mouthful of goals for
so
my.
what is a dream that me envision? So my dream is always like, even as we get older, you have to stay attracted to one another. A lot of people don't stay attracted to one another. They don't. Only reason why I say that, because I see it. When your spouse don't find you attractive, that's when you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta keep that spark.
Bring the spark back, yeah.
You gotta bring that spark back, man. I told one of my little homies, he always called me, Ray, I need your help. And I tell him, because he's a married young man. I say, man, you gotta stay attracted. You gotta keep that. You gotta keep that spark, man. You gotta keep yourself up to par. And I know I'm getting, a little weight on me, but I keep myself looking up to par. I keep my head shaved. I might let my beard grow ragged or whatever, but I try to keep myself up to par. Like, what made me attracted to Naisha, and vice versa. I always tell her, "Ooh, babe, I like when you wear this here. I like when you wear that." She might tell me, "Ooh, babe, I like when you wear this shirt or wear them jeans or whatever." You know what I mean? Because it's the physical eyes is what's get us to move away. Our hearts say I do, but the physicalness be like, nah,
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep it real. You know what I mean? You got to keep it real.
So with that particular statement, my question is the young, active, and attractive statement. What can you do, or what advice would you give to couples to keep them from losing the spark? You already told them what to do once you lose it, but what can you do to not lose it?
Stay connected, stay grounded. You know what I mean? And what I mean by stay grounded is like, keep them date nights. You know what I mean? Keep the unexpected notes. You know what I mean? I seen a post when the dude, he was loving on his wife so much. I do nice that all the time. She get mad at me and I say, if I stop touching on you this way, you need to be like, because the girl showed it. She showed the steps. Every day her man feeling on a certain type of way. So they show 5 years down the line, he ain't touched. So she like, what's going on? And it plays in my mind because I'm always grabbing on Naisha some kind of way, say form of fashion or whatever, you know what I mean, in the privacy of our own. And I tell her, she like, dang, baby, I'm like, let me do my thing.
That's because he always gonna do it at the most awkwardest.
That's when you're supposed to do it.
And that's probably not even awkwardest. That's not even a word.
Right.
Probably is. But he do it at the most craziest times. And I'll be like, baby, really?
That's when you do it. And you be like, okay, she still got it. You know what I mean? Like people these days, they not keeping it there, man. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep it there. You got to keep it there. You're going to lose it. What you got married for? You got married because you was attracted to this person. They was young. It was attractive. Young, active, and attractive. You got to stay active.
You got married for the physicalness and not the...
Yeah, you got married for the physicalness of the body and not the mental of it. You know what I mean? You got to lift your spouse up, or the spirit. So, Anything else you want to?
No, we can recap.
Oh. So the recap was, we got a comment.
And it says from our deacon.
From my deacon.
I think one thing I had to do before I said I do was being able to feel established, taking on that main role of a provider, protector, and a listener.
I like that. I like that, Deep. I like that.
Is that something that you wanted to make sure you did on your own? Or is that something that you heard or was given the advice on what to do in marriage counseling? Not marriage counseling. What's the word? I keep mixing it up. Premarital counseling.
Right.
Or is that something you learned along the way? Or is that something you saw from your own parents as far as the history is concerned?
I think as a man, that's one of the things we want to make sure that we could do is provide, being protected. I know I ain't a great listener to down the line, so I could bounce with you on that, Hector. I could honestly say that sometimes I'm not a great listener, because I just hear something like, man, I ain't trying to hear that right now. You know what I mean? I could say that, and I used to always say that, girl, you just listen or you just hear me. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's certain things that we don't want to hear. For as a provider, I know I'm a great provider. You know, I know I'm a great protector. You know what I mean? Them girls, I don't really worry too much about the boys, but them girls, you know what I mean? I'm always on their road. You know what I mean? I'm on King and Isaiah road, but them girls, I'm always on their road. You know what I mean? So I had to learn how to listen instead of talking. So I feel you on that. That's deep though. Because a lot of people don't take the time out to say, man, I'm going to take this leap of faith. And I know I'm going to have to be the man, because, you know, as the man, but I don't have a problem with my woman taking care of me.
He said, I wanted to do it on my own because my Mexican side of the family, that's a whole other counseling session.
That's real. That's and you know what's crazy that you said that the Mexican side of the family, the Mexican.
He said
the
Mexican.
Yeah, the Mexican. One thing I love about that Mexican culture, because they for real about theirs. I ain't talking down on my black people, but they for real about theirs. Them women gonna take care of their man, and the man gonna take care of their household, whether he full of them beers or not. It's going down.
But he said I wanted to do it. He wanted to do it on his own, more so like to prove to the
right
Mexican side of the family
that I got this. Right.
Yeah.
Probably wanted my boy to stay in the circle, but you did what was best for you and your heart.
Yeah.
Hector. So I'm happy for you and I'm proud of you, man. So, you know, for everybody that's joining in right now, just to give y'all a recap, we just were talking about getting ready for marriage. Anyone can plan a marriage, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. Let me say it again. Anyone can plan a wedding, because you know a wedding is easy to plan, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. You know, we just talked about the history. What did you learn about relationships from your family or your parents? We had talked about fears. What fears did you have as an adolescent when it comes to marriage? What's your expectations of your marriage? What are your expectations when it comes to marriage? And dreams, like what is your dreams? So what do you envision for your marriage? You know what I mean?
I want to go back to fears right quick. Because like you said, this is your first marriage and you came into a marriage where there's already 5 kids that are not babies. So did you have any fears concerning that? Like if they would accept you or how the dynamic would be?
At first I did, but talking to them every day, like I said, at first I was like, man, is these kids gonna accept me? Is they gonna be respectable? You know what I mean? Or they gonna be like, you ain't my daddy? Like, you know, what type of kids they were. But I think what broke all of that for me was Leah. Everybody know, even my family back home, everybody know they're gonna say, Leah, that's his baby. And she's getting big now. She ain't no baby no more. She don't wanna be under daddy no more. Right. She already told me, I ain't no baby no more. I'm like, yeah, you gonna always be my baby. You know what I mean? We've been doing this since you was in the womb or whatever. But
and that's not to take away from the other 4. What happened was Leah was the first to say, my name is Leah Ray. She was the first to call him daddy. She was the first to do everything without any coercing from me.
Right.
And that Leah opened the door for the other 4.
Right.
I'm gonna say the other 3 because Khalid was always
right.
Rocking.
Right.
But Leah opened the door for Deja, Anaya, and King. Then after then after Leia, it was Anaya
Right.
who took to you.
Yeah, now you tell everybody. They ain't my
Right.
stepdad. That's my dad.
It was
So
King and Deja. It took them a little while, but now Deja is coming around a whole lot more. And King, him and King is just alike. Let's just say that. They good when they good. They be ready to knock each other's head off when they knock it. They just alike.
so
But
you,
King, I will say every night King be like, "Love you, Mr. Ray. Love you, Mama. Good night, parents."
right.
King, that's King line right there every night. But King is another him.
He like a mini version of me. I think that's why I get on him so much. And I had a, and it's crazy that we talking about getting ready for marriage. And the kids post is gonna come down the line because it's a whole series, y'all. This is a series that I want to start with y'all that I've put together myself. I just asked my wife to just help me do it, the right way because she's been married before I haven't. But when you married to somebody and the kid's not biologically yours, as a man, I think it's hard because you always think in the back of your mind, any kid I'm gonna tell their little butt up. But you thinking like, I always tell my wife, man, you handle that. You know what I mean? Because I say, man, it starts with you. You know what I mean? If they see you do something or listen to you, then they listen to me. Hey, mama. And I'm like, I always tell her that. They always say, Mr. Ray, you always told us. They always use my line against me. One thing about these kids, they are sponges. I told them when I was away that I wouldn't whoop y'all. So when I go get that belt, like I'm going to whoop them, they be laughing. So I have to really I get stern with them. And I don't like that, but when I get stern, then they're like, she'll tell them, I don't want to hit Gregory Mouse, so just go on and just, you know what I mean? But other than that,
and we'll touch on these next week.
Yeah, on my
as far as the kids is concerned.
When it comes to marriage. But yeah, tonight, man, we just going back to the basics, just starting from the beginning, man. Just, marriage preparations, you know what I mean? How we prepared ourselves.
How did we prepare ourselves?
We went through premarital. Yeah, we went through premarital counseling real quick. You know what I mean? We prepared ourselves, and sometimes it's like we like ground zero. We like dirt. You know what I mean? We got a foundation mentally of what we want, but physically we still dirt. And what I mean by that is because we growing every day because we never lived with each other. We always dated. We always was friends first. We always stayed in contact with one another. So sometimes it's rocky, you know what I mean? But we always find that one nail in that hammer to like get it back together. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't know how to find that nail in that hammer and be like, get it back together. They'll just dwell on that one thing and just making the situation rocky.
Or they're rope to tie another night.
Yeah. And just hang on in there. You know what I mean? So, we not perfect. I ain't perfect, you know what I mean? I know I still have my moments where I just be like, man, but then I always go back and tell her like, hey man, I love you, man.
I know.
So, you know what I mean? This ain't no.
That's what we do, y'all.
Right. That's what we do. Like, man, strength through adversity. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? Everybody done been through some of their marriage where they just like, man, they just want to throw the towel and like, man, but I learned something this weekend because I asked a question. And they was told me, bro, you just got to get you a break. Just get you a break, you know what I mean? A breather room from you. And my pastor told me this, my brother told me this, my pastor told me this. He like, man, to give me a break. I'm like, wow, he needed a breather. My brother told me the same thing. He like, bro, I needed me a breather. So my wife
his breather coming up next, and I set it up. So
right. So I'm getting me a breather, you know what I mean? Everybody need that, you know what I mean? So like I told him, I ain't tripping. One thing about me, I ain't tripping. I ain't doing no tripping. I know what I got. So, but on I choose you, help us, help somebody else, and we're gonna get through this together. You know what I mean? And we got something special coming up for y'all, but we can't make those announcements till he make those announcements. Right. Those announcements are coming from the man upstairs. So, but anything else you want to say, baby, before I close us out?
No. Just make sure you do the work before you say I do.
Do the work. Anybody have any gripes, complaints, questions, anything before I close out with comments before questions. I close out with my my closing statements? You have 1 minute.
Me?
Nah, damn.
Oh.
But I do want to say, man, thank y'all for joining in. Hector, thank you, man, for sharing your comments. Roxy, thank you for tuning in. Mama, thank you for tuning in. Big bro, I see you. Thank you for tuning in. Sion, I seen you. You said, what's up, y'all?
Tell
what's up, man?
Simeon that we are
y'all,
still
y'all
praying for
y'all,
him
man.
and his family.
Yes, man. And thankful. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody always tuning in with us, man. Y'all know what it is, man.
Thank you for tuning. Tootie tuning in.
Right. We thank everybody. We thank everybody for tuning in, man. So
Melissa,
man, thank you for tuning in always.
Latrice, thank y'all.
Latrice, thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. So I guess why we had to leave so soon? We already been on there for an hour. We trying to discipline ourselves because it's gonna be a series.
Yes, because marriage takes discipline as well.
Yes, it takes discipline. Sorry you missed everything. I try to tag there. I tagged everybody in at 8:30. I know for sure that I always be on here. Sorry if you missed it. But the series is why we had to leave. Oh, this weekend. No, this weekend. Man, y'all left.
Y'all can come back.
Y'all had to get back to the kids. Everybody had to get back to the regular life. But the series that we working on, man, for everybody that just joined in is getting ready for marriage. And we started this series because somebody asked us to do something and we had to pray about it. And Aisha was like, "Greg, it's
already written out.
So. It's already written out. We going through the series. So if y'all rocking with us, rock with us every Tuesday. You know what I mean? I was caught up doing something. It's my fault. You good, mom? Let's go back and listen to it. You will love it, man. The topic is marriage preparation. What to do before you say I do. We came in with anyone could plan a wedding, but it takes wisdom to prepare for a marriage. You can always tune in on our YouTube channel at I Choose You Podcast _. You know what I mean? I could go back and look at it, but we had 4 key points tonight. We talked about the history. What did you learn about relationship from your parents and your families? We talked about fears. What fears do you have as an adolescent when it comes to marriage? We talked about expectations. What were your expectations when it comes to marriage? Also, we talked about dreams. What is a dream that you envision for your marriage? So right now, we just at the beginning of this series of marriage preparation. What to do before you say I do.
Take a breather.
No, that's how they do it. You know what I mean? We run through the summary. You know what I mean? When we rocking with y'all, that's on our game nights. When we doing this series, we gotta be disciplined. Our pastor told us to be disciplined. Be disciplined, be diligent. So we wrote this out. We gotta pass this on, put this in our file. We got this part of the series out the way. But in closing, I want to share this with y'all. For marriage to thrive, your best energy shouldn't be in planning a party that will only last a few hours. Your best efforts should be given to thinking about your lifelong marriage.
Yes, I'm tickled because I'm so proud of my baby. He came up with this by himself. And all I had to do was ad-lib a little bit.
Right. So for marriage to thrive, your best energy shouldn't be in planning a wedding that will only last a few hours. Your best effort should be given to thinking about your lifelong marriage. And that's all I have for y'all for tonight on this series. Getting ready for marriage, preparing y'all for marriage. What to do before I say I do.
But I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I won't say nothing else, but I'm so proud of you.
Right.
Just know that we have some things lined up. We're going to take our time, pray about it, of course. But when we start dropping, our expectations, which was number 3 for tonight, is that the choosers, that he gave y'all their name, to make sure y'all are in the building and supporting. Okay?
Right. James said, kiss him now.
James, I'm going to text you. I'm going to screenshot your name in my phone. I'm going to send it to you, right? I changed your name in my phone. I'm going to send it to you.
Right. Y'all crazy, man.
But again, thank y'all for tuning in. We love when y'all join in with us. We love coming on here every Tuesday night at 8:30. Just having a good time with y'all. And as always, we hope something has been said that you all can take back, whether you are married, dating, engaged. Take something that has been shared tonight between him giving it, me giving it, and just apply it.
Hey, sis, sorry you missed it, man. Y'all know 8:30 every Tuesday. We changed it from Thursday to Tuesday just so y'all could be on there, my choosers, man. But you always can get the recap on YouTube, man. Put it in your ear pods while you at work. You know, I love you. Sorry you missed it, but that's all for the night, man. For our series of getting ready for marriage or just diving back into this, revisiting some things, just so you can go back to your significant other and just ask these questions. That's 4 questions that I want you to ask. Anybody that just joined in, ask about the history, the fears, the expectations, and the dreams. Go back and listen to the questions. Ask them as it's something for y'all to talk about. And then next week, we'll continue on with this
Come
series.
back with 4 more next week.
Yes. So that's all.
Good night.